Akhil Marden saw his 71-year-old father Ahmed gunned down in front of him.
What can I say? I hope to fight them. If I saw one of them, I would kill him with my hands. Not just me, but all of my people, in all the village.
A lead line in the ISIS attempted overthrow of Iraq and other regions in the Mideast is how America and the rest of the world was caught completely off guard by the ferocity of this new enemy and should have known better and been better prepared. But now comes word America did know well when Obama policy in Iraq tied their hands. Truth be told, that and more. Let's welcome in political and economic analyst at the Economics Channel on Saudi TV, Ahmed Fathi joins us. Ahmed, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Ed.
Let me start out, before we get into all this, I wanted to ask you as an expert something that vexes a lot of Americans here as we watch this. We continue to hear the use of the word caliphate, and I want to read to you something from USA Today. After the Prophet Muhammad died in 632, the Islamic community chose a caliph to lead the faithful. That institution lasted almost 1,300 years until it was abolished in 1924. Since that time, no mainstream Muslim held the position until June 29th, when the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria reestablished the caliphate. Setting that down now as a basis, what exactly is this and why should we be concerned?
The caliphate, as the quote from the USA Today, it started after the passing away of the Prophet Muhammad. And then also to note that through the first five caliphs came the biggest rift in the Islamic world by the establishing of the Shia sect and the Sunni sect. And this was also because of a caliph or another caliphate. So it's an ongoing thing. However, since 1924, with the demise of the Ottoman Caliphate and the establishment of the secular state in Turkey, nobody is hearing about it. However, I also wish to mention that all of the extremist groups from Al-Qaeda, Islamic Jihad, Hizb Tahrir, even the Muslim Brotherhood of Egypt, it's part of their dogma is to re-establish the caliphate once more. It's been an ongoing dream, let me put it this way, since 1924, and became also a raison d'etre for some of these groups to reincarnate this form of government that the time and history have passed by miles and miles.
Is it a dream, though, that really 21st century, as all of these groups are battling back and forth to gain control of land, does it really make a difference?
It shouldn't make a difference. However, we should also be vigilant that during the year that the Muslim Brotherhood reached to the governing in Egypt by the election of Morsi, they have also started to promote this idea of the caliphate. Those people, their dogma does not believe in established borders. Political borders are nil to them. Their dream is to establish the caliphate from the Atlantic Ocean to the China Wall. It's very complicated to sum it up in few words. However, the West should be concerned to a certain extent that we have seen, for example, the Obama administration's support for the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt. This have backfired to a large extent. It have angered the US allies in the area, such as Saudi Arabia, Egypt, you name it, with the exception, of course, of Tunisia, where it have an Islamist government.
Ahmed, there's also a story floating around, it has been out there for a little while, that apparently in November, Congress knew that ISIS was launching 40 suicide bombers a month, which means the Obama administration knew about it. And we continue to ask these questions, how could they be caught off guard? From what you know, and from what this story is now telling us, isn't that just a falsity, that indeed the administration had to know what was going on here. They knew about the coming of ISIS. And when people say it caught them off guard, that's not true.
This is the million-dollar question, Ed. The Obama administration, national security team, and foreign policy members are totally out of sync with what's happening in the world. Their analysis and their situation contingency planning, if there is a contingency planning, is less than mediocre. This is the fact we have to deal with till 2016. I wish to highlight that although that there were reports that the ISIL responsible for 40 suicide bombers, the speed where the Iraqi army has fallen is unimaginable and was not really taken into consideration. There was not even a single
Ahmed, I want to stop you there if
resistance.
I can. I know that there's a delay here, but I want to stop you a little bit there. Was it really imaginable, though, honestly? People, and we were giving them a tremendous amount of training and money. Weren't there indications already well before ISIS started its drive that the Iraqi military simply was not able to take care of itself?
We are speaking about an organized army, no matter how badly trained or the morale is bad, versus guerrillas, versus militias with light arms. Come on, you couldn't even have a helicopter with a machine gun to fly over them. This goes beyond the logic of things, beyond the nature of organized armies. This is the result of al-Malki, the Iraqi prime minister policies. Jobs were sold in the open market. Those who signed up to serve in the Iraqi army were actually paying a salary of a month or 2 months through the door. Corruption was prevalent all over Iraq under al-Malki leadership.
But from your perspective, looking at what I said a couple of moments ago, would you then agree that knowing what we know now, there's absolutely no way the Obama administration or anybody in the administration can claim that this caught them off guard? That would be a lie.
I would imagine that the fact that they have exaggerated that it was caught them off guard. That means that there is no existence for U.S. intelligence inside Iraq, that there is no existence for U.S. intelligence inside Syria. ISIL came, or known as ISIS, I prefer to use ISIL, came from Syria. They were controlling already towns and cities in Syria. They did not just it came out of the blues. This is an ongoing activities they have been involved with. The speed that the Al-Mosul fell and the fact that they were able to confiscate $400 million in cash makes ISIL the richest terrorist organization in the world. Remember, Al-Qaeda operating budget in the heyday years of their operations was not more than $30 million a year. Imagine this group with such amount, what they are capable of doing.
Okay, I have about a minute left here, and let me direct your attention to the video we saw this weekend with Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, apparently the leader of ISIL or ISIS. Is it your opinion that this is a genuine video? It apparently is they're still trying to verify this. And what would be the reason for him to come out and do this? I would guess it would be to tell his followers, I'm here, I'm in the open, I'm your leader, follow me.
I agree with your analysis that he just wanted to make a statement that he's there, he's not a fictitious personality. But I would like to stress that this Caliph al-Baghdadi, he have signed his death certificate by himself by showing his face.
But if he does show his face, then does that not show either an arrogance or a confidence that he is well protected enough and that he does not have to fear American or any other reprisal?
I don't think that no matter how he thinks he's protected, he's still going to be vulnerable. He's still going to be vulnerable to drone attacks if the Obama administration decided to use the drones in curbing or tracking down his movements.
15 seconds. Do you think the U.S. will use drones?
Eventually they will, but not while al-Malki is a prime minister.
That, I think, is the big key right there. Unfortunately, we are all out of time. Please, we're going to have to do this again, Ahmed, because there is so much more to discuss, and you've certainly given us a little bit of enlightenment as to what goes on. It's a very confusing situation for Americans as we watch this unfold on a daily basis. So I thank you very much for your time, and we will do it again.
You're welcome, Ed.
It is fair to say, too, that what he says is very true. There is a discussion as to whether or not and when Americans will bring drones into the affair, and that is not being considered by many simply because of the collateral damage that they may bring about at this time, and they may have to start destroying cities and civilians as well. A lot to talk about here. MidPoint, every day, we question everything. We will continue.